Yeah, I'm back at home by the way. I think I haven't recorded, and this is very deliberate and very intentional. And I don't think I'll be recording anytime soon. I think next diary will be based or will be situated while I'm at school. Okay, back to Moi, okay? I don't have intention to go back to read in school. Oh my goodness. The place that I'm in, let me actually show you. So, you see the other end, this, that billboard there's a fence, there's that that was the point that I recorded some time back while I was at home by then. So this is actually a dam that is usually situated in this place. I don't know if you recognize this place, but I was on the other end. It was closed. I found my way here. To, I don't know. And again, I'm risking risk, but we are all risk takers. I am a risk taker. That's something that I have come to appreciate. And now I want to find my way inside this place.
And he was truly a great crypto trader, navigating risks with skill.
I have to find my way inside this place. I've seen some people move. You have seen some people moving. I'm trying to find a way. I found a hole by there somewhere, which I'm going to pass through, because I definitely need to talk about something that, in fact, I'm talking about the reason I came here, which was against my my wish. I didn't want to come out by there, and it was not the plan. And I was doing things so that I make sure that I don't go back to home. But things happened, and yesterday is when everything was just revealed to me why it had all to happen. So, and it's a critical one. This is the hardest lesson I think I have ever learned in my life. The hardest, yet the most important. Let me actually have a sit down. Let me find a way inside this place. I want to sit down somewhere. I'm actually in a farm somewhere, and it's not a good place to sit on because it doesn't have grass, just vegetation on some crops here. So there's a hole somewhere. I need to find it. And sit down for quite some, probably 40 minutes. I won't take this long. I don't want to just say many things. I am allowing myself not to think about many things, so that those are the things that are affecting me. I'll actually pinpoint what happened and why I had to come home. There's a hole here. This one that I want. I hope there's no chameleon. No chameleon. Okay, I've gotten into the place. Now it's time to figure. I need to stay out of people's eyes until I finish this diary. Okay. So yeah. I think it would be better to just because I'm seeing some eyes here. I don't want to grab anyone's attention for now, because I said this, home is not actually a good place to record, and this remains to be the fact. But I definitely need some moment alone. Usually while I'm at home, remember we're living in an urban area, so there's no green, there's no, and if there's a field, it is far away from home. I'm finding it hard to just stay here. Anyway, I'm actually sit down here and have a recording. So, remember I was fearing to not go home, and that has never been my wish at any moment. Yeah, because I was not planning to come back home the same way I went. I wanted to come back a different and a changed person, a person who is, I wanted to make a grand ceremony for coming home. I wanted to come back while I have my own car, or if I did come back home, it was to pick my birth certificate and go change my name. After that, things will just flow, and by that time I figured maybe I could have maybe a family. But no, this wasn't the case. This wasn't meant to be that way. This wasn't meant to, I needed to go through some process. Now, what happened? What really happened, by the way? Now, we might be here talking about the plans that I had and which have caused me to be here, and we need to ask the right questions. Now, I was looking for money. Money didn't come to me. I was looking for a partner. We made a decision that we are going to separate. Okay. The same day that I was coming to this place, it's the same day that we decided to let us just separate. Why? Now, remember on Friday, I think it was on a Wednesday or something. Wednesday or Tuesday. Remember, this is when I've blown my accounts. I sell the mattress. I get some 1,000 shillings for, facilitating my transport. I was sent 700 shillings for my transport. The money that I had, backed up by my money that I had for selling the mattress, that facilitated me to get here. Otherwise, it could have deemed impossible to come to this place were it not for me selling that mattress. And now, I came back home, with a heavy heart. While I was traveling, it was chaotic, because I felt like the world is breaking up. Yeah, the world was breaking up in my end. I felt like giving up. I traveled from Cheptiret to what's the place? The name of this place is Nakuru town. That's why I was dropped off, picked a matatu, and in fact, the timing of the matatu was just right. You know, I remember the same matatu that carried me while I was coming back from Moi when I was going to pick my things back in, was it in 2022? After leaving school, it's the same matatu that carried me again when I was coming back with my bag back at home. Was that coincidence? I don't know. But definitely, I waited in Cheptiret for about 2 hours. Yeah? I don't know what I was waiting for. However, I knew that I was waiting for something. Kumbe, it's the same matatu that had carried me a while back. Now, it's the same matatu. We have established that. And now, it's time to move. Because I actually loved the conductor. The reason why I got into that matatu is the conductor. There's a way when I'm traveling from Eldoret to Nakuru, there's a way conductors ask, or even conductors in the Kenyan language, in the context, the person who is handling the money, the passenger's money in the vehicle. Yeah, whoever is helping them to get into the matatu, help them get out of the matatu, all that. And now, it's the same matatu. I liked him because now, any other matatu, I'm usually asked for the fare, for the bus fare, just some distance after, taking off. Or should I say, after some distance, maybe 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers. That's when they'll ask for the fare. And I am usually not comfortable with that because I usually do know that if someone asks for my bus fare that early, remember I'm taking a journey of almost 182 kilometers. Eldoret to Nakuru is about 182. Let's say, give or take 160 because it's in Cheptiret. 160 kilometers. You want to tell me that you can't wait for close to even 140 or even 130 and ask me my bus fare from that point? So I loved this. My interaction with this guy is what made me like him, because he usually asks the bus fare before some maybe when he knows you are about to reach your destination. That's when he is going to ask for the bus fare, and I liked him for that instantly, and even how he was handling people. One thing that I've come to note: if you treat people nicely and you are not greedy in any way in your job, trust me, money is gonna flow in a way that you just can't understand. And if you have a good heart, things are just going to flow, and flow in a way that you just can't understand. That's the reality. And any other conductor that I've seen them ask for my bus fare just some distance after getting on the vehicle or even the matatu, they usually lack some passengers to carry. That's one thing that I've come to note. They usually lack, wanakwasanga kabisa. You even go for 3 kilometers without, you are only 3 passengers in the matatu, a 14-seater matatu. Whereas in this other person's this person who is not greedy, who is going to ask the bus fare at the right place, they never run short of any passenger. Money will just be flowing to them. That's what I've come to observe. If you do your work diligently, without greed, and very professionally, because that guy is very professional. And trust me, by the way, I need to save his number, because that guy, that guy, yeah, that guy is important. That guy is important. I need to save their numbers. And now, things happened. I got myself in that matatu. After having a sight of him, I was like, you know what? I'm not even thinking twice. I'm going with this matatu. You know, it's not a matatu that you usually plan, or even it's a carry, as it goes, it carries. That's what the kind of matatu that was actually getting myself carried with, okay? And now, and it was a sign for me to just leave. So throughout the whole journey, I'm like, what has happened? What has been happening? Things, it is just memories. I've just been left with memories and the emotions to deal with them. And now, against our wishes, we arrive at home. This was not the plan, by the way. But I'm going to explain why I had to come home. This, okay. Anyway, it's a great lesson. So, I come back home. Monday, it was on a Sunday. The following day was on a Sunday. I decided to go to church, do my thing. Tomorrow is on a Sunday. I'm not planning to go to church. And anytime soon, I don't think I'm going to church. Now, also yesterday I blew my account. It was on a Friday. Yeah, I blew my account. And not that I didn't make any profit. I made almost $2 profit. But there's a mistake that I did. And I think I'm not going to repeat any mistake in Forex. If I see my trade is going above $1 loss, just close it. Just close it. Don't even think twice. Close immediately. Because it's not the right time yet. I think I'm being taught timing in Forex. I've been, it's the last 500 shillings that I had in my account after selling the mattress. So that is what I was using to, I deposited in my FX, not FX, but in my FBS account, and tried to generate some few money here and there. Because as I'm waiting for other money to come to me, I don't know where it's gonna come from, but definitely I have not given my attention to money. Plus, it's a thing that I'm doing out of, okay, I need some money to be facilitating me to undergo, okay, to carry out some processes, or even there are things that I need to be buying each and every time. Maybe airtime. Remember, I need to also be preparing kefir milk, so I need money for that, to be buying me the milk, and I keep my culture alive, and that requires money. So I was looking towards generating some few money. I don't want much, few, maybe $1 a day, maybe two, not much. I don't want much right now because I've seen the effect. And yeah, now in the course of the week I was like, by the way, I've been trying to make sense of things. Why did all this happen? And ni lesson gani nafaa kuchukua hapa hivi? I picked some few lessons, small lessons, which I really don't remember. It was some few I wish I could have remembered. Yeah, but I think the greatest lesson that actually was revealed yesterday while I was trading the forex. I think something came into my mind. Was like, by the way, why did I leave that place? Now, as I'm engaged in forex. Yeah? Okay, I've taken yesterday I almost took about 10 plus 10 plus trades or even positions. And bro, it was crazy. I made some profit, but I made a mistake. So, and today I've gone through this video, which is now teaching me about value. That's why I'm not even worried about anything at the future. I'm not worried about the future or anything, because I definitely know that I know for a fact that the future is going to be bright. It is going to be bright, right? Now, as I was thinking about something. It was yesterday. While I was trading the positions, let me tell you something. I don't know how this was revealed to me, and I didn't see it coming. However, I think it came at the right time. It was exactly 7 days after we had a wait. Yeah. It was the same day that it was exactly 7 days that I left my GS place. And if you have noted, I've been talking about her almost in every video. And that's the point of actually creating this video. I had not planned to do this video anytime soon, but why not? Now, what mistake did I do? And I kept on doing it. Okay, what happened? What happened that triggered me to come back home? My shots ran short. I ran short of funds or even money that was to facilitate me while I'm in that place. Remember, I lose money on Monday and on Tuesday and probably on Wednesday. That's when now I'm left broke, 0-0. I have nothing to rely on. I have no one to rely on. While I'm at school, I don't have friends who can host me for a while. So I'm like, the only option is to just go back home. Now, money has just gone, has decided to run away. Okay. On Friday, or even it was on a Saturday, we come up with a conclusion that we are parting, or even we are separating for God knows when, we separate. Now I'm left alone. I don't have anyone to encourage me at any point. I have no money. Like, I'm grounded, zero. So this was a very important process to happen to me, because it is as important as it sounds. Yes, critical for that matter. I may not have liked it coming here. It was against the plan, but it was essential for me to go through this phase, and which I've come to appreciate. Kumbe things were just were meant to happen, and I had to go through this process. I now appreciate why I had to. I now understand why I had to come back home. Not that I was comfortable, but anyway, you flow with the water, literally. You flow with the water. And so, what was the lesson, by the way? I've just been dilly-dallying here and there, sugary baggy, dang, 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 dang. So, what was the greatest lesson? Now, remember, some few months back, I made a picture in my mind, very clear picture of, I am going to do this. I am going to do this. I'm gonna be a father. I'm going to be, all that. I created the perfect future for myself. You know, I was testing the I think I was testing the waters again. Remember, I've just realized you can manifest anything. You can bring anything to your life and experience it. But first you have to imagine it first. You have to create it in your mind. So while I think it was July, it was on July I think, it's when I create the perfect future and I feel it. Remember, the most important thing in manifestation is just keeping the feeling alive as if you have it. You have to enjoy it. And you know, the reality that I'm living it in right now, like right now, I have already created it a while back. And that's the reality. That's the fact. I created it at some point. So I'm living in the past because my mind created it at some point. And I think I sit back and I'm like, I think I get it. I now get the full picture of what happened and what is happening. And the most important thing here is just do whatever is needed from you right now. Now, I think at some, I think it was on a Friday. It was last Friday while I was in my GS place. I made a decision. I think this is when I went to the library. I remember I feel sad that I'm going to leave tomorrow. That day, that I'm sad I'm going to leave tomorrow that day. I was like, no. While having a conversation, that internal monologue, I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to change. I'm going to change for good. I've not yet picked the reason why. Remember, it is I'm in the middle of things. I am going to change. I'm going to transform to another person that is grounded. A man who is grounded. A man who is objective. A man who is very intentional about whatever he's doing. You know, a man who is disciplined enough to take control of even his life and even take care of other people that are around him. That's the person that I was wishing to become. Not wishing, that I am planning to become. Because this is a process that I have to go through. And I've actually accepted my fate. I have to go through it right now. Because there's no other time that I'm going to experience this. Now, um, aside from that, let me I've been actually digressing to talk about the lessons. Now, my guy here, mm, yesterday, okay, I made a picture. It was on July, and this thing started to manifest this year. In fact, this year, or even maybe December last year. So July, um, wait, apana, July, August, September, October, November, December. I think 3 months after that is when things started to come into alignment with whatever I had made in my mind some 3 months back. I was like meeting you know, my partner. Yeah, it happened. And it happened in a way that I really can't tell it, but it was a bit spiritual because I was recognizing what was happening. The energies, I've started to, sense people's energies. And this particular one was a bit different. It was very warm. And okay, I think this is a person. And it happened. And after that, I think these things went very fast. I think very fast. And in that of fast moving things, this when I became obsessed. Yeah, it's as if I was. Okay, let me look for the word. I have the word here. Chat GPT iko wapi? Yeah, Chat GPT. Ghibli style. Hmm. What do you call being? This award that they use for being obsessed with something. Um, Self-sabotage. I'll use that word somewhere. Oh, desperate. Yes, I became too desperate. In fact, I was doing this very unconsciously. I didn't note of this. Now, in the process of manifestation, you have to realize that you have to undergo the critical processes. Identify what you want. 2, you have to create the picture in your mind. 3, you have to attach the feeling. That is what is important. In fact, it is what it carries the, the heart. It's the heart of the manifestation. Emotions have to be in place. As you are imagining, you have to feel the emotion. After that, repeat this a few times, yeah, until your mind is convinced. I hope these are not ants. Eh, this place is raining. I'm fearing that um I'm fearing that there are no ants. I'm not sitting in a line of ants, because I could have come here, screaming. No, that is what is critical. That is what carries the day. That is what the universe recognizes as something. Emotions have to be there. And then, after repeating it, now repeating it as many times as possible until your mind is convinced there's a clear picture, and you are sending strong signals to the universe of what you want. You have now to detach you have to detach from there, which I missed all this time from January. Kumbe, Wednesday, yeah, we got intimate, okay? See, I think I said this at some point. We got intimate. That's why it was not the act itself. It was what was happening in my mind after then. I was like, this is a person trying to create the future. The mistakes that I kept on doing. Creating the future, creating the future, creating the future. Fixing her in the future that I had created. It was not the act itself. That's. By then she complained about this, but for me, I knew, okay, if this could have been the reason why we are separating, I could have noted it a long time ago. A very long time ago. In fact, I could have been the first person to note this. But it wasn't. It was what was happening in the mind. And considering that my mind is very strong and it is able to influence things around me, it is very powerful. That's what I've come to even appreciate. I've got a very strong mind that can affect things around me. So every thought that I passes through my mind, must be very careful of even processing it. I must be very careful. So what mistake was I doing? I became too... What's the word again? It's desperate. I was acting desperate. And remember, the universe doesn't recognize being desperate. It's like you're not yet ready for it. So let me just pick it. Now, by the act of by the act of being obsessed with things. And also this happened with the same case as the money, but I'm going to talk about it after that. After this, you know what I started to do? I started to push her away with my obsession. When you are acting too desperate, things are just going to be moved away from you until you learn. That's when they are going to come back. So it was the greatest lesson that I have ever received in my life. I think I have ever been taught by the universe. If you create the moment of, you know, being attached to someone, create it and let things flow. And in fact, I noted this. I actually go back. I go back and I'm like, by the way, do you remember the first time that we met? You enjoyed the moments. You enjoyed the moments. You definitely enjoyed the moments. Okay? And things were just flowing naturally. You liked the vibe. And by the way, I liked it. The first time that we just interacted with her, oh my goodness, I was enjoying the moments here. We could even sit down and have a 6 hour, 7 hour chat. I don't know, talking about what. We just are conversing. I like the time, that time. I know it's not going to come back. However, it's going to be another thing, by the way. Okay, that's beside the point. The point is, sometime, if you create the picture, actually, detachment is where you must put emphasis into that thing. And before actually I came back home, we had a very candid conversation. And I certainly picked some points and even some words from there that I even called her yesterday, and which I believe is going to be the last call, as I'm taking a very long leave before. Yeah, in fact, it's the last call. Plus, this is the last person. No, this is the last version of me. Okay, that anyone is going to ever interact with. When I go back to school, I think, remember, this is a process that I have to go through. I didn't talk about this, so yeah, a person with intention, a man, a real man with intentions, very objective, knows what he's doing. In fact, this is actually my last diary that I'm recording in this state that I'm still in the process of changing. I'm not going to record any diary anytime soon. And in fact, let me say this, I'm going to record another diary while I'm at school. Okay, while I'm at Moi. Okay, that's when I'm going to record the next diary. I'm trying to restrain myself from talking about many things. Remember, I have a lot of power. My mind is very powerful. So therefore, I have to protect anything that is coming out of me. So I must be very careful. That's what I've come to. Knowing yourself is something that should be the number one priority. You are capable of doing some certain things. These are the effects. These are the effects. They are able to do certain things here and there. Be careful of how you disseminate your power. Now, I don't have much storage, but that's the lesson that I picked. Whenever you're manifesting, make sure that you detach. In fact, you're supposed to even forget that you ever created that picture. Let things naturally flow. Same case to the money. Don't be too obsessed with the money. Just feel the abundance. See yourself having so much money that you don't know where to take it because you have too much of it. Now, while you are manifesting about your love, the love of your life, just make a picture, feel it, and then after that make good moments out of that, and then detach, and that's it. And just forget that you created another picture, because that is what was pushing money, people, and even myself away. I realized that I was pushing myself away. I was deviating from the usual way of life. So yeah, yeah. It's the greatest lesson that I've ever picked. Detach. In fact, forget that you ever created that picture and let things naturally flow to you. Yeah. It's a lesson. I don't know. No one taught me, but I had to learn it firsthand. So I'm going back to the drawing board. Remember, manifestation takes a lot of energy. Takes a lot of energy. Creating those pictures and feeling it. Yeah. It takes some energy, body energy. So I'm going back to the drawing board, and I have to freshly create moments. I have to create my future now, since I know what now I'm supposed to do, what I require, what I need right now. I'm gonna visualize it. In fact, I'm going to note down the things that I want: love life, money, money in abundance, all that. I list them down. And in fact, one of the nini that I'm going to manifest is changing my name in my ID card. This will be the part of the process. Write them down somewhere, put them into action, visualize. After some, I'm here for about, maybe, I don't know, it won't go past 2 months. That's what I know. It won't go past 2 months. And if it does, it won't. Yeah, it won't. Now, I create the moments, new moments, in fact, new, very new, brand new. I feel them, and since I've seen that it works, I let them go. I detach. I'm going to morph to another person, totally a different person. A person you could be having a conversation with right now is a different person that will come out after that. Of course, now that person will be half baked. I need to go back to school. I need now to interact with nature in a way that I need to be sitting down in nature and live in the present. And by that I mean I need now to be, what do you call it, taking some time. Okay, what do these people, monks do in the forest? They do something, by the way. They usually do something which I cannot remember the name. Okay, when you sit down in a cross-legged, and you recollect yourself and listen to nature. Meditation, yes, meditation. Now I must go back to school, spend some few days learning meditation, because I think the battle that is in my mind is I'm fighting one great battle in my mind. Learning how to detach requires you to be deeply rooted in yourself, such that you can separate the things that you have visualized. And that's the challenge that I've been having. Memory. My memory is just there to always be reflecting on the back, even on the past. So I must learn this. Actually, this is the thing that I need to learn. through meditation, through the whole process, just detach. Yeah, if you have your partner, live with them in the present. Don't connect anything in the back at the back of your mind. Don't be obsessed with something. Don't act too desperate with something. That's all that I have to say. Also, this was the thing that I was supposed to learn while I was at home, but that is not yet complete. I think I've said I'll be half baked while I'm living here. I need to go to school because this is not a good place to meditate. Honestly, it's not, and I cannot anyway. I cannot do anything about it. So that remains the fact. I must learn how to, you know, to disconnect. But that needs meditation, where I'm living in the present. I don't know how to put this into words. But learning how to detach is what the thing that I was supposed to learn when coming to this place. Now, besides that, I needed to come to learn some forex trading here and there. After that, say I'll be fully equipped with the skills. Money will not be a problem when I go back to school. I'll still be practicing Excel and other things. So I'm going back to school. I'm okay. Right now I'm prepared. Remember, I'll have manifested money flowing to me. So therefore, I don't have to worry about anything. And remember, the universe takes care of my needs. That's what I established the days that I did not have money. Money was just mysteriously being sent to me. I don't know how, but it just happened. So I've got to believe that just God will provide. And this is a fact that I've come to establish. It's going to happen. So in the right moment, I'm going to leave this place. I'm going to complete the mission. I think right now I'm humbled. I will no longer take anything for granted and take control of your mind. Your mind is the greatest weapon that against yourself, and again, in the other case, on the other hand, for yourself. It's either you win through it or you lose it. Yeah, the mind is the strongest weapon that you ever have. You can create and destroy moments. Don't be too obsessed with something. Detach. So, yeah, I needed to talk about that because I'll take a very long time before I come back to the diaries. Remember, I've also quit Facebook. I'll not be posting for a while. Let me just realize myself and come back to myself, original self, because I've deviated for a while. I'm like the ego. The ego usually notices that the beak usually is very, very blunt. The claws are also very blunt. The feathers are old. It now needs to go to the cliffs, remove everything. The mouth, hit hard as possible. The beak to the rock. The claws have to be removed in the same way, in the same manner. The feathers to be removed, and then it comes out as a new of course the journey is very painful, but after that it will come out as a new being, as a new fit, as a brand new thing. So that's the person in making, and I appreciate the journey, and I'm going to win. Trust me, I'm going to win. So, and it is essential for me to go through this phase at this moment. Yeah, because the universe has me backed up, and you need to learn the lessons gracefully, and things will just happen mysteriously. I'll also be recording. I think the next diary that I'll record with is a Vivo X200 Pro. I have reasons to believe that's going to be the case. However, I do not want to conclude that right now. But of importance is just that I need to go through this lesson silently, without much noise, without much distraction. I don't want to be talking about things right now. That's why I'm refraining from recording any diary. that is very deliberate. I know it's going to affect me, but yeah, I need to take a break from that. I'm not going to post in my Facebook for a while, maybe 3 weeks. 3 weeks or something. Take that time, decide what you want, give it a picture, put it into play in your mind. Yeah, while you are doing this, you also Nivea Excel, and I'm also doing Forex with a demo account to learn the strings. What can I do so that I can be profitable each and every day? Which is the best entry? Which is the best exit? How is it going to work for me? That I'm also learning value. I think I pinpointed at some point that I have the videos now that are going to teach me how to calculate value using MT4 PC. I have it. I have the videos. So I'm going to follow them step by step. At the end of the 3 weeks, something will just come out. And trust me, this is going to be different. You know, now me meeting my partner is gonna be now a totally different story. And I hope it is, because I have a feeling it is going to be different. Very different from the first, from the first time that I ever interacted. It is going to be a ceremonious thing, by the way. I have reasons to believe it's going to be big. The better and even exciting. Yeah, those are the moments that I'm going to make. However, for now, I'm trying to refrain from thinking about anything, because where your attention goes, your energy flows. That statement, 100%, 100 plus 1%, correct. Where your attention goes, and don't be attached to anything. Now, I think I'm done. It's past 50 minutes. I'm even impressed. I did 50 minutes and I was flying for 40. So yeah, I think I'm done. I'm not recording any diary soon. You will not see my Facebook account active for a while. Things have halted. See, I've noted my mistake. It's now fixing it and knowing how to live with myself. That's it for now. I remember, if it can be shaken, it can be moved. Until tomorrow. No, until another time. Weeks away from now. Adios. I think I will be at school by then. So adios. I said that I was risking my life being in that place. So I've just encountered the person who is in charge of this place, taking care of this place. He was concerned, but it was after I did my diary. But anyway, so I've said that this is the last video. So yeah, let me join all these videos together and then I'll publish them when I get the data. I need maybe 1 GB. As even I'm downloading some other YouTube videos. Anyway, it's okay. It's okay. And even I have established a rapport with the guy. Just a minute, or even some seconds after meeting. Yeah, I've learned to just treat people in a humane way. The way you could also be what you want to be also treated. You have to act again in a way that if you meet them somewhere, we'll also have a chat. You'll be respected. You command respect because you respect the other people. So that's just that. This is a place, by the way. It's the road that leads to that place. So I think that's that. Bye. See? I definitely knew that that place was restricted, and I had to risk my life for that. you know, it was on us. By the I've come to realize, even if you are doing something wrong, do it with confidence, not having even any doubt in your mind, because that is what attracts eyes. That is what attracts attention. And trust me, you don't want to just mess with that. Now, I want to talk about something else. I want to talk about something else. I don't know if he heard whatever I was saying, but yeah. So, actually, I'm worried. I'm afraid that someone was hearing what I had said in that diary, whole diary, because I was not talking in a very loud voice, but at least 10 meters away from me, you could hear what I'm saying. But that's not my worry. My worry is right now, he heard it. I didn't disclose any um, sensitive details in that, although I have at some point, but yeah, I let that go, I think. Let me just leave with that. Someone heard whatever I was saying. I didn't mention any names. Good for me. I think, but that was a restricted area. I was actually risking my life for that. So, but we have just established a rapport, and just do things in confidence. Don't even worry about whoever is hearing you, or even whoever is watching you. You just do it. Now, I need to say something. Oh, I needed to say something. Yeah, I'm going back to Moi. And while I'm going to back to Moi, I'm not going to inform anyone. It's gonna this. I think I'm not going to tell anyone that I'm going to Moi. And in fact, I'm not going to carry many things from this place, because I'm not planning to go back to Moi to just be sitting just like that. In fact, I even won't notice anyone that I'm coming except the caretaker, because I have to get a house before I go back to school. Somewhere that I'm going to lay my head on. I know I don't have a mattress. I know I don't have a blanket, but that is going to be figured out. I'm going to figure out that thing while I'm at that place. But I'm not going to notice anyone when I go back to Moi. I'm going back to Moi silently. Take about a month or 2 weeks or even 3 weeks until I announce my coming. No one is going to know, by the way. They are going to be surprised that I came 3 weeks ago. Yeah. Mbona ukujia vitu zako? I was like, yo, that was important. In fact, they won't know that I'm coming to that place. Anyway, it's something that I'm planning silently. I'm going back, but very silently. I won't carry by the many baggage while when going back, and it will be very abrupt because I don't want to announce my leaving. I want to finish the process and then I can come back now home to pick the things that I need to pick, and then I'm planning things in silence, by the way, because I'm planning to move in silence. After some months is when I'm going to announce who I am right now. By then, okay? Not right now, by then. So I'm done. I'm done with the diary. I think I've saluted before, but I think this is just a thought that came to my mind. I have not talked about this. I have not covered this area. I think I needed one good hour to talk about all these things. Yeah.
Nakuwa na ujinga sometimes. Nawataka ujinga, umesikia?
Bye.